Oh, hey, man, could I be any bigger in the screen? I'm like a massive hit. Like, people are going to think I can see the future. That's what they're going to think, man, look at the size of that guy's dome. I got my cabeza. We're back, and we're live, and we're here, and we're going to have a great conversation tonight. We thank you. Look, at the start of every broadcast, we always talk about being thankful, liking and sharing this, and let's make sure we get conversation out, talk about the ideas, things are happening in the city. It's getting close to the holidays. People are out there shopping. The stress is coming on. What are we? Today's the 15th. We're 10 days. I think it's 10 days now. 9 days from Christmas. If you haven't done your shopping, you got to get out there and knock things out. Santa Claus can only take care of so much, just in case there's any children watching. You got to get out there. The stress is building. Families are gathering or not gathering. If you're listening to Nelson Wolf and Ron Nuremberg, families are out there. People are thinking, man, I got to get this done. It's holiday time. Make it happen. And we just break for a little bit to talk about, hey, what's happening in the city? What things can we do? We're not going to go too crazy tonight into issues. Got a few things we want to talk about, but tonight is really about focusing on some issues that are going to really open your mind. We've touched on them in the past with Pastor Alex Fleming is joining us tonight. We've talked about the homeless issue. We're going to talk about mattresses tonight. We're going to get into that one afterwards in a little bit as well. But the overarching conversation is going to be about little things that are happening across our city, people who are struggling one way or another. And we're going to some of these stories will stun you when you think about this, and it's happening. The struggle is happening across our city, literally probably within a half a mile, quarter mile from where you are living, watching the broadcast tonight. People are having a difficult time, and we're going to talk about that tonight. So homelessness is a big issue. I've enjoyed it in my time on the city council. I enjoyed being part of the ministry of helping serve the homeless. So we're going to really dig into that and talk about the things that are happening in our city, public policy, how that works when it comes to our tax dollars and the homeless initiatives, and then as well what's occurring with this mattress thing. I want to bring something up on your mindset about children and where they sleep at night, how they sleep at night in our city. So be prepared. We're going to talk about that one. And then we're going to hit a few issues, talk a little bit about memes, and have some fun as we wrap it up. But as always, we want to thank you for joining us. We ask you to like it, share it, tag it, push the podcast out, and make sure everybody knows about it. It is, like I said, a Tuesday night, 10 days from Christmas. So maybe podcasting's not top on your list this night. But nonetheless, push it, share it, let's get it out there. We always want to thank our sponsors and the people who help us make this happen. And first and foremost, and we're going to talk about this organization tonight because I have got an Aligned Mortgage of Texas story. It's going to knock your socks off. But we're thankful to Chris Cano, Cody Carrasquillo, and Tony Diaz for giving us a venue here off of Summit Parkway, 410 Babcock area. Aligned Mortgage of Texas, the number one VA lender in the nation. You know what? They're killing it. I trust you. If you have a conversation with them, if you're a veteran, if you need home ownership advice, this is the place to drop in and say hello. And it starts with, if you look at that, there are 4 pillars of success. And I'm going to show you tonight, Pastor Fleming and I are going to talk about exactly how their 4 pillars are serving our community. It's going to knock your socks off. You're going to be amazed. Starts all, and that's what I love about the logo. I love about the push. It begins and ends with right there, faith. Family, coworkers, and community. That's Aligned Mortgage of Texas. Reach out to them. If you're a veteran, by all means, look, this is an interesting fact. I think it's like 18% of veterans in the history, right, of our country, 18% have utilized their VA home loan benefit. And that is one of the most important things. Look, I served 10 years in the Air Force. I purchased a couple of homes, and I used my VA benefit because it allows me a great opportunity to own a piece of the land that we all help defend when we put on a uniform. And it doesn't matter what branch of service you want, whether you're Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, you name it. If you have military service in your background and a VA veteran in your family, a Veterans Administration loan is an opportunity. That guarantees a huge part of your service. It's a reward and a benefit you earned. Reach out to these guys. And I'm really harping on it because right now our ability, right, is veterans to own a home has never been better. Rates are very low. There's a lot of homes out there for sale right now. People are looking for opportunity, and veterans have a tool and in their VA home loan benefit. So knock it out, give them a call and say, hey, look, I don't know much about this, but I want to learn. They're going to take care of you. Or look, I'm looking to do this. They're going to take care of you. I'm looking to purchase. I've already identified the house. They're going to take care of you. And if you know somebody, by all means, let's help. One of the things that when we talk about homelessness tonight, a homeless veteran to me just adds a whole other level to the conversation. Somebody who served our country, wore the uniform, and they're living on the streets. Those are the issues we're going to talk about tonight. Aligned Mortgage is stepping up big time to knock that out. So be prepared for that conversation. We're going to get there. Thank you, Chris, Tony, and Cody. We love you. We appreciate you. And we're going to honor you tonight with your story of really your generosity to the homeless community and the city of San Antonio. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Thank you to Tyler Hall. Look, we love Tyler. Well, who'd you got? Did you get Tyler? Okay, you got Tyler. Tyler's our Speedy Salt delivery man. Tyler, we love you. We know you're out there taking care of yourself, your son. We appreciate you and your family and what you're doing. We appreciate all the help you've ever given us. Look, you need salt for your water softener. My man, Tyler, knows how to take care of you. Give him a holler. Reach out to him. SpeedySalt.com. It's his business. He'll deliver his salt for you. It's better than sending your wife out in 28-degree weather to pick up a 50-pound bag of salt. You want to get in trouble? Send the spouse to go do that when you didn't pick it up on the way home. So thank you, Tyler. We love you. Appreciate you. We also want to thank our buddy AAA Garcia Bell Bonds and Louis Garcia. Put that logo up. This guy will literally help you regardless. Just give him a call and say, I need some help, brother. Can you give me some advice? Can you help me in this situation? This guy will do it. Family-owned business. He's right up here off of Bandera and 410, just inside the loop, right near the Cavender Toyota dealership. Right near there is a FedEx, and there's AAA Garcia Bell Bonds. He's opening up a couple of new shops, too, across the city, and he is doing his best in a business that is, look, it's difficult, but he helps and he takes care of it, treats you like family, and makes sure that you understand that you have options and opportunities in the Bell Bonds business. So be careful. He's, I think, the only business really outside of downtown. I believe so. He's the only Bell Bondsman outside of downtown. But we love him. He takes care of us. He even has easy payment plans, and you get a free pair of handcuffs. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but the handcuffs are hanging off his shirt right there. Louis, we love you. Appreciate you. Thank you for always helping us out. And then two of our friends in the realty business, Susan Bielicki. We want to thank her for always helping out. She is right there. So she's with eXp Realty, and she is a military home loan relocation specialist. As a veteran, her husband is a former veteran, or not a former veteran. Her husband is a veteran. Hello, Greg. And she is in the realty game. She's also president of I think it's the Board of Realtors. I mean, I got to follow up with what she just took over, like leading an organization as the president of the Board of Realtors. I'm going to follow up on that. Maybe if Ray's got it out there, he can post it to us and send it exactly what his daughter is doing. But we know that Ray is a big supporter, Ray Rodriguez. This is his daughter, Susan. And her husband actually just opened up he opened up a food truck. And the food truck is called Masshole. I kid you not. It's called Masshole, right? So, and it serves, man, bao bun burgers, lobster rolls. I mean, it's an amazing. So look up on Facebook, look up Masshole, Masshole. I don't know where he came up with that name from, but look up that food truck. Give him a shout. It was He actually served us. I don't know if you remember, Sally. He served us here before the podcast at the mortgage shop. And man, everybody was down here eating that food. He's opened up. He's killing it. And he's selling out every night. Masshole, look him up on Facebook, find out where he's going to be next. But thank you, Susan. We appreciate you. We're going to find out what presidency she just took over, too. Hopefully, Ray's going to message me so I get it right. And then our friend Brian Pena with the Toronto Realty Group. Brian, we appreciate you. We love you. We're always thankful for what you're doing for us. He's got a first responders buying program that takes care of business. Reach out to him. And I put two realtors up there because it's a personality thing in the realtor world. You got to find somebody that fits you and takes care of you. And Brian and Susan are always there to knock it out. So thank you to all of you. We appreciate you jumping in and helping us put this on and fund our operation. Thank you. Quick shout out I want to put up. I want to put a photo up. Can you give me the control of it there for a second? I gotta give this woman a shout out. That's her due right there. So this is a friend of our podcast. I saw her log on tonight, Miss Betty Eckert. She turned 90 years old, 90 years young, 90 years young. Betty has been a friend for years when I worked off and on at City Hall. Betty has been involved and on the scene. Her passion is senior issues across the city. And every time I was either running for office or I had a candidate or I'm a candidate, and I'm trying to figure out policy ideas and initiatives, Betty has been standing up for the senior community just for years. And she sat on the senior commissions here in San Antonio. She's been a representative to say, hey, look, don't forget about our seniors in our community. Betty, thank you for always continuing to fight. Happy 90th birthday. That better be a non-alcoholic beverage, or Betty better not be driving if it is in that photo right there. She's killing it. Look at that, man. Awesome. She's taking care of business. It's her birthday celebration right there. Betty, we love you. Happy birthday. Happy 90th birthday. Thank you for what you do. We appreciate you. Continue the good fight for your seniors. Thank you, Betty. We love you, and enjoy it. So, let's knock out a couple of key points real fast. You leave it up there. I'm going to put the facts up right now. We want to just give you the COVID update. Ron and Nelson hopped on tonight at 6:13. Here are some of the things they put up there. We, of course, are in a worsening, moderate level of COVID-19 infections in the city. They have shut down bars completely. We saw that recent order. They have came out, Metro Health came out recently as well and recommended Dr. Junda Wu, our Metro Health advisor for the county, came out and recommended that schools go to go to virtual learning from home. Again, recommendation. Most schools have not followed Metro Health's recommendation, and they're still doing in-person learning because what we are seeing is not a heavy level at all of infection within our school districts. Northside and SAISC, they've been handling this very well. Our charter schools and private schools have very strict social media distancing and other guidelines in place, mask wearing, so our kids are safe at school. So the city it has kind of taken a step further with it, saying shut it down and go home and do virtual learning. But the school districts have stood up and said, no, we can be in charge of our own destiny and future. And in spite of what we're seeing, right? So we know we're going to see a spike from the Thanksgiving break. It's happening right now. Then it's going to drop down to a mild or moderate level of infection. And then the Christmas holiday, they're saying we're going to see sometime in mid-January, again, another heavy spike while we're seeing distribution of the vaccines across our city. Here's some more data and information right here. And you can see where the trend lines are moving. Everything's moving up. And it's to be expected. I mean, we knew that when people gather for the holidays, there would be a potential problem. And it is showing itself in the numbers. But again, we're talking 2.1 million people in the county. These progress indicators are indicative of rising caseload. And you can see it right there to the far left from November 9th through 21st. These are about as updated progress indicators as we can get. And then this here is the up-to-date one, like as of today, 94,781 cases, an increase of 599. That was as high as 1,250, 1,300 cases, but it's on its way slightly back down. And of course, 1,429 deaths, which is in amongst itself. One death is one death too many. And of course, we pray for every one of those people and their families. And it's not, and if you look at this from race and ethnicity down there, the Hispanic community at 76%, and the cumulative cases reported by data, the heat map over there does show where we're seeing the bulk of these infections. And then, of course, the gender continues to be relatively split down the middle. But the cases are climbing, and we are seeing an increase. But this big debate that we're also seeing is also about shutdowns, our community, our schools, our small businesses, our restaurants. We talked about that last week. I don't want to jump too far into it again. But the community has said enough's enough. And we have to be very careful and talk now about recovery and what that means for our city and how we put people back to work now, keep our kids in school so that they're mentally and socially prepared and growing as well. And those are a lot of things we need to consider to talk about. And we will over time, especially at the beginning of the year when this turns into our city council elections come up in May 3rd of 2021. We'll see a lot of people announcing for city council races here in the month of January. So our policy may very well change, and then vaccines are hitting the street out there right now. We did see today's actually had its first health advisor here from UT Health San Antonio administers its first coronavirus vaccine today, so that did come out. And one person today was vaccinated on television here in San Antonio, and she's part of the UT Health science system. She's a doctor, and she took the vaccine so that people can begin to gain a level of comfortability with it. We do see struggles at Metro Health. Here's a couple more points right here. The Metro Health departure, part of a larger exodus of public health leaders in America. So on the left down there is the current Metro Health director and assistant city manager. And she doesn't look very happy right there. It's probably because she actually did leave once. If you remember, Dr. Bridger right there left the city of San Antonio to go be a private consultant, but then she came back to the city of San Antonio because Metro Health was having a lot of leadership problems and transition problems. One of the things that's not very well advertised right now is the difficulty that Metro Health has had when it comes to the coronavirus response. And to the right is Dawn Emmerich, who was the interim and then became the Metro Health director, but she left and resigned based on the policy of the city, and really it was a lot of drama in this particular department. We don't know all the facts because it doesn't get reported, so I don't want to jump all over this other than to say, there's upheaval and turmoil. They've appointed a part-time, kind of a loaned executive to run Metro Health. So they're bringing someone in who used to run the Family Services Association. she is taking over Metro Health, and you can read it more about it in the paper. So upheaval in leadership doesn't bode well for this response in the Metro Health Department. The employees of the Metro Health Department have been doing yeoman's work. I mean, they're working hard. The day-to-day, everyday employee knocking it out, showing it up at the city of San Antonio, and they're working hard. But the leadership across the city, really, the city leadership has been really fumbling the ball here, and Metro Health's at the lead of that, and that's something that needs to be fixed. And one thing we will learn is that response from Metro Health was not prepared. Thank God for the San Antonio Fire Department. I don't know if you know this, because they don't want to advertise this. The San Antonio Fire Department stepped in and offered and brought in firefighters who began the contact tracing and really updated and modernized Metro Health's response to contact tracing and data gathering. And from what I heard, there was points in time where information was stacked up in papers and boxes in rooms at Metro Health. They were simply not prepared. And thank God for the San Antonio Fire Department who stepped in and helped out, because leadership, had dropped the ball. And we got to think about those things and get better after this. And once we get through this and the vaccines start to hit and we're seeing that, we have to also then take a step back and say, what were the things we could have done different? What did we do right? What could we do better? All that post-analysis, post-COVID analysis is going to help us prepare and be better for the next time. So we're going to make sure we focus on that as well as it goes forward. And we want to talk, and this I think is a great time and a segue to bring in Alex. So look, struggles and challenges, we know it. COVID dominates the day, and it's really every conversation. You turn on social media, you're on the news, it's talking about COVID, now it's talking about vaccines. And we know that for the greater part of us, it's going to be quite a while, if you choose to get vaccinated, it's going to be quite a while before vaccine opportunity presents itself for the average everyday citizen. We know that they're going to go to healthcare workers first, first responders, teachers. There are certain people in our society that are going to receive the vaccine first. By the time it gets to the rest of us in the spring and further into the summer, we'll have an idea of how these things work. But we have to be patient, we have to be safe and careful. And a lot of this really revolves around who we are and how we interact with people. But one of the things we've learned, and I'm really excited to bring in Alex Fleming. One of the things we've learned is that our homeless community, and there has been a lot of misinformation when it comes to the homeless community, COVID transmission, homeless community, how we deal and help them. I mean, just from the funding and the dollars, there's a lot of things that we're going to dig into, and I'm happy to bring in Alex right here. If you could. You know what? That's great. Salo has a video. So Alex has created, and it's an amazing act of love and kindness, and it's called the Winter Shelter, and it helps. Alex goes around literally and picks up homeless men and women to shelter and sometimes clothe them in freezing temperatures in San Antonio, and he got some publicity and press for us, rightly as he should have. So if you want to run that right now, let's take a look at it.
Well, the cold weather isn't the only challenge facing the city's homeless tonight. Those who need shelter also have to be protected from the coronavirus. Eyewitness News reporter Marvin Hurst has more on an effort of faith to shield the needy from COVID-19 and the cold.
At the Restoring Church on Fredericksburg Road, there's an effort bringing joy to a pastor's soul.
So it doesn't matter if I'm ready or not, here I come. I'm gonna find you and Woo!
Alex Fleming is partnering with the Northwest Side Church to shield the homeless from the cold and the coronavirus. His church, near downtown, is a refuge for the homeless. But CDC guidelines for the coronavirus limits the amount of people he can safely invite in out of the cold.
At our church, under CDC guidelines, we probably could have taken in 10.
That's where the Restoring Church comes in. 80 relief beds lay out 6 feet apart in every direction to take the homeless out of frigid temps.
They're actually being the sanctuary, man.
On the floor of the sanctuary, they'll enjoy hot chocolate, food, and prayer if needed.
We want to do unto others as we would like them to do to us. So when it's cold, man, we didn't think twice about it. We opened up our facilities.
A bus from a third church will transport the homeless from Fleming's church to their night of warmth.
This is the first time where we're actually going to be busing people from our area and busing them out over here and then busing them back in the morning.
Then back to the streets.
I see this, Marvin, becoming like the Jimenez Thanksgiving dinner every winter season. churches from across the city coming together, housing 1,000 homeless when it's 32 degrees or below.
Until the temps drop and the need arises.
Give me an outlet to practice what I've learned from the gospel. And this is that outlet. And also, man, serving the poor was the context that Jesus did discipleship in.
Marvin Hurst, KENS 5,
Boom.
Eyewitness News.
And when I was homeless, Pastor Alex opened up, gave me a place to sleep, gave me food, gave me clothing. He also gave me a sense of human. What do you call it?
Humanity.
Dignity. It wasn't degrading like.
Hey, look at this uniform now. Look at this, man. Straight up security. So he got the promotion from McDonald's to straight security. And look at this guy, man. You wouldn't even think that a few months ago, man.
What did the showers do for you, man? How did that bless you?
It made me feel like a better man. And with clean clothes, you try to get an interview or a job, I feel that I have more pride, more dignity. If somebody looking down on me because I was homeless, but they didn't know. But if I'd have went in looking like I looked back then, I wanted to win. It's for the Lord and you too. Listen, I love you. Thank you, Lord.
I'm telling you. So we're going to dig in because I want to make sure we talk about COVID and homelessness. I think that's a worthy conversation. The homeless issue, a few years back, the city council declared they effectively ended homelessness. I don't know if you remember that in San Antonio. They came out and said, we effectively ended homelessness. It's a total lie. Now, we know that the city invests millions of dollars into Haven for Hope. And those dollars then utilized to take care of hundreds of men and women at the Haven for Hope. And it's a nationally recognized model for homeless care. We'll leave it at that. But Alex is doing what he's doing. And this winter shelter, Alex, man. So talk to us first off about what it means to be the cold, your game plan and idea, why homelessness why this issue has captured you, and the success you've had to this point, because it really has been, divine intervention. I just watching you, that God has put in your path the opportunity to help the homeless community, and I think you mentioned it too, helping the poor, right? Regardless, at that point, it's not just homeless, but it's near homeless too. So the poor, how is that mission working out for you? Talk to us about the winter shelter and let's get into it.
Yeah. So when we started the winter shelter, I was reading the church announcements. I felt the Holy Spirit say, you're going to take in the homeless today. I've never did that before, didn't know how to do it. And we just took them in, and God showed up, the city showed up, news coverage, and we were able to house 40 homeless at that time. I didn't know what to do, how to do it, who to ask, but that's God. He calls us out of the comfort zone. You know what I mean? It's not just about being in the church. And so when we did that, it just started. And I felt the Holy Spirit saying again, like, okay, so now what? Just one? You know what I mean? So
but winter shelter is, what temperature does it have to be at?
32 degrees or below.
32 or below. And then how do you go get them? It's great, man. What do you do?
Okay, so man, I'll get a piece of paper. I'll write like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to, like in Daryl's case, this new church that we stayed at, 80. We go out there and I just come to people walking around Haven for Hope or by the Via Metro bus deal. And I'm just like, do you have a warm place to stay tonight to stay out of the cold? And they're like, no. Boom, here's a ticket. I explained it to them, and that's it. And
you're busing them yourself, right?
Yeah, and all of this is this is the beauty. It's all in partnership. It's not me. It's not just me. It's everybody, right? Last Chance Ministries providing the buses. Daryl providing his sanctuary. This Thursday, tomorrow, we're going to do one at Last Chance Ministries in their main sanctuary. The goal is for this to spread. So from us just doing it at our church, it's turning into us equipping and training other churches and other ministries to do it as well throughout the city.
And we estimate that on the streets every night in San Antonio, and I don't know what the updated point in time count is, but we did they call them a point in time count. The city once a year goes out and counts the number of people who are homeless in the city. I mean, as best as they can. Goes out and counts it. I've participated in these annual point in time counts myself, and it's somewhere between 2,200 and 2,800 men and women on the street every night. So it freezes and it's cold like that. There used to be, and one of the things that got me heavily involved in the homeless ministry, which first triggered me to get involved, We used to have a homeless man. He would clean the windows in a parking lot next to my field office was when I was on the city council. And it froze one night, and he had an addiction problem. He did. But it froze one night, and he had had too much to drink, and he fell asleep at the car wash across the street from my city council office. So he fell asleep, and he died across the street from the city machine. Like we are there for a purpose, right? And that was such an eye opener for me. And he had family, a daughter in Florida, and he was a veteran. And I mean, you fall into homelessness for many reasons. Like talk to people about what that life is like and how they ended up and what you encounter, what you see and hear from them, because there's many that story matches.
Yeah, and helping to change the narrative that it's not every single person out there is a drug addict, right? Like some of it is trauma, right? You hear stories about people that lose their whole family in a car wreck and the guy just couldn't bounce back, right? You talk about mental illness, you talk about veterans. There's a bigger umbrella of what leads to homeless, and I think that if we as citizens that are not homeless look at it only as, oh, these drug addicts, they just want to be there. Some do. I'm not gonna say that they don't. Some do, and some want to be off the grid. But for a lot of others, man, they're there. They just had a very, very tough break. And here's where the grace of God comes in, where I put the shoe on the other foot. Man, I would love if I ever hit a traumatic moment, somebody just to help me out. We're not trying to enable people to stay homeless. We're actually pouring in hope to get them off the street. And we've seen 27 homeless people get off the street by what we do and get into their own places.
So your church is right next to Haven for Hope, which I absolutely love that you're right next to Haven for Hope. We're going to talk about the city's response to you in a second too. But www.liferestoredchurch.com. The church is Life Restored Church. It's down off of Arbor Place, right next to Haven for Hope. And the city has come after you several times, because you're not following according to them. Tell the story. Okay, you got to hear, people, you have to hear this. This is how ridiculous the city is. First of all, the city should want, in my opinion, the faith-based community, churches and activists like that involved in helping the homeless. There are things in our city that require a faith answer.
Yes.
I believe homelessness is one of those issues that the faith community can have a massive impact in that. But what was the city, an example of some of the things they were doing?
The first time that it happened, the city came to us and said, a church cannot feed the homeless. That was the first allegation. And I'm like, says who? They're like, we don't know. You're just not supposed to. I'm like, can you show me where it says that? Because the Bible tells me to do this. She's like, I don't know, the code officer, I don't know anything about the Bible. By tomorrow, you better be shut down. And I went in and I thought about it for a little bit. And I'm like, you know what? God called me to do this. He called all Christians to do this, to help the poor. There's several scriptures. You cannot deny that. And so I showed up and I told the person, you just do what you got to do. I'm going to do what I got to do. And they started slapping fines, this and that. And we just kept on doing what we do. And then they would change the reason. We went down there to the DHS, went down there with a lawyer. Then they retracted that. And they're like, we're sorry, this was written in error. You got to love that. It's written in error. And so, but after that, they slapped something else. Well, it's this. Well, it's that. Then it finally came down to it's your certificate of occupancy.
Yeah.
You know, where it needs to be human services. You need to change that, and that's $3,000, and you may not even get it, but we're gonna keep the money. I'm like, yeah.
$3,000 feeds a lot of homeless men and women.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah.
So I know you fought him, and we don't want to relitigate all that.
Yeah.
But you went at him and you won.
Yes.
And they did cave in. So it wasn't all doom and gloom. Some people are just loving your mission, and they're already commenting, right, Salo, about how fantastic you are and the message you send. And that's why we wanted you here, because just to one more time reiterate, as it gets into this time period, I always tell people this. There's probably, I don't know, this even probably, I always check because it's just kind of on my heart all the time. I'm always thinking about this homeless issue when I drive around San Antonio. You probably drive over every bridge in this city you drive over, there's a homeless person underneath it.
Yeah.
Everyone. You may not see them at that moment because they're pretty good at camouflaging themselves, or they live way up under the ridges of the bridge, way underneath. They'll cram themselves up underneath there, or they're living in drainage ditches, and really, I mean, just conditions that would scare you. And people in neighborhood associations, and they're right to be worried and concerned about safety when it comes to the homeless issue, as well as the panhandling piece. Panhandling is not homelessness. True. You got to separate the two. But people will see that. And so I always challenge people to, and when I tell them, I said, hey, man, think about when you're driving around this city. There ain't a bridge you drive over that there ain't somebody living underneath it in any part of town. It ain't just, well, homelessness doesn't happen up off of Highway 90 or homelessness doesn't happen up off Stone Oak. Oh, they're there.
Yeah.
They're in the shadows. You don't see them. So what you're doing with the ministry work is fantastic. But you've been able to, with the winter shelter, right? You've been able to bring this to them. So what are some things you need? First off, Align Mortgage of Texas. Let's hit that. So this is what I want to tell you. So I went to Alex's winter shelter a couple weeks back, and I mentioned to him, hey, man, you need to come back out to Align Mortgage, because he's been on the show here before. I said, you need to come back out to us and tell the story of what you do. So Alex came out here, met with the leadership team of Align Mortgage, and then they turned around and said, you know what, we love what you're doing. And they promised a $5,000 check for your mission, for your purpose, for your drive, your energy, all of it. They said $5,000 goes to, they had a giant check for you, to Life Restore Church. So Alex came into the building and did his presentation to about 125 employees, and I was standing out in the crowd. And of course, I'm a firm believer in you and your message. I think you're an anointed man. I think God is putting his favor on you, and you are out there just helping people, man. So Alex comes in, gets his $5,000 check, and then two of the owners of Align Mortgage, Tony Diaz and Chris Cano, felt so moved that they changed it from $5,000 to $25,000.
Yes.
So Align Mortgage jumped in and said, you know what, this homeless issue, we can do something and do something now. And the organization donated $25,000 for you to continue to put on winter shelters. And we need to make sure that for Align Mortgage gets put out there, because there's no publicity. It's not getting pushed out. It's not on a billboard somewhere. Hey, yo, look at me. I gave 25 grand. They did it just because it's the mission. Again, back to the faith piece. What do you do with that money? Like, explain to people, if they go out and they donate, and they need to go out to that website, need to donate. If you want to volunteer, the volunteer forms are on the website at liferestorechurch.com. You can sign up, you can be a part of it, but every penny counts as well. What are some things you do with those dollars so people know where their money's going?
Yes, exactly. So coming up to this winter shelter, one of the things that we invested was in the relief beds. Now, I don't know if you saw that on the news. It's a bed that it rolls out, you pull the valve out, and it's foam and air technology, inflates to like 3 inches. It could hold up to 300 pounds. Cap it back up. You put the sleeping bag over it. It brings more comfort to a homeless person when they sleep. And I believe every time we do it, it needs to be done with more excellence, more human dignity. And that was about a $10,000 investment for that, to do that for them. With that, we also want to bless other ministries that are doing things for the homeless, right? This also helps us in our fight with the city coming in January when we start back up, when we start with, getting our certificate of occupancy changed. If that's what needs to be done, let's just do it. Let's see if they're going to allow that, regardless. The bills, food. This last winter shelter, Life Restore Church spent $400 on pizza for everybody to be there. So
what are some things that a homeless person would need for survival on the street? Because it's a unique set of things. People would think, oh, you got it. I'm just going to give no, they need a unique set of things that are more important than others. What are they? So
okay, I'm going to say right off the bat, socks for sure.
Socks.
Right? We know jackets and we know beanies and gloves. That's a no given in the winter. Chapstick. Oh my gosh. You see guys with cracked lips. I mean, dude, that is painful. Chapstick is a must in the winter season. Of course, jackets, beanies, thermals, man. Thermals to go under whatever. They have a heavy jacket, light jacket. Give me some long johns, the good old-fashioned long johns. Hand sanitizer or wipes. Sometimes these girls, They're not allowed into, and they can't go to a restaurant, wash their hands. They touch something filthy. Who knows what that life is like? Hey, man, at least something here. Bam. Masks.
What are you seeing with the, since you mentioned masks, what are you seeing with COVID infection rates in the homeless?
Man,
it's
I've not seen many at all with and this is my belief. This is my belief that dude, that they're out. They're facing things like COVID and worse all day, every single day. Their immune system, I believe, for the most of them, are strong enough to be able to deal with all of that, man. You know what I'm saying? Wow. This is the truth. Yeah, I mean,
we're not seeing it. So I want to make sure, because look, people get irritated with. I get it. And when you're pulling up on your neighborhood and you see homeless people, it's not a sight you want to see. So there's really two reasons, you don't want to see it in your neighborhood from a public safety perspective. So that reason to me is valid. It's a very valid concern, and the city has a lot of resources. But let's be honest here. A homeless person also does not necessarily want to go to Haven for Hope.
Yeah.
Because there are things and there are certain recommendations, there's certain requirements when you go to Haven for Hope. Like there used to be, they changed it, but a homeless person and their pet is a very interesting situation. A lot of homeless people have pets.
Yep.
And it used to be you couldn't take your pet into the shelter. You can, they've got accommodations now, but there are reasons why a homeless person would not want to go to Haven for Hope.
Yeah.
And people got to remember that. So they get stuck in this mix where, you know what, the neighborhoods obviously want to be mindful of the safety of their community. Sure. Panhandling gets outlawed, and we tried that in the past, right? The Chief McManus tried putting an end to panhandling, and that blew up in his face. And then you've got Haven for Hope, and then you've got smaller churches that are trying their best, and the big churches as well are having success, but it's this disjointed, when the city doesn't support the mission, then you have all these churches, and it's just a mess. I mean, what would you want in your world, right? You're thinking about it and things we can advocate for. People want to volunteer and push out information and help out wherever they can. There's tons of people right here that they say, you know what, we want to help out. We're going to donate time and energy. What do you think from a homeless initiative would you like to see? Churches, the city, that faith component. What would you want to?
I mean, I see the city like in a perfect partnership. City, let's start off with the winter shelter, because it's a great entry point. One, for exposure, to see how it goes down. It's safe. It's safer than any other one of the ministries that we would do regarding homeless. So I'd like to see the city partnering in the sense of, here's the building and here's the facility that's big enough to be able to handle as many homeless people that are out there on the street. That's the city's partnership. Then the church is supplying the volunteers. And I'll say that this is the biggest difference. It's rehumanizing the people that come through and not running them through like cattle down a prison line. Here's your food, get out. Here's your food, get out of here. Let me tell you, that right there, one of the things we do is PTA, please, thank you, and I apologize. That's our de-escalation process that comes from the book of Proverbs that says a gentle word turns away wrath, a harsh word provokes it. I have seen it time and time and time and time again. That scripture come to pass when you let your pride down, right? So every volunteer, they're trained. This isn't, hey, we're doing this for you. You better listen and you better, and a lot of people do it like that. You're wanting complete perfection from somebody whose life is crushed and shattered. It's not going to happen. And if you try to force that, they're going to buck up. And that's where you see a lot of like chaos happening. With the way we do it, our de-escalation program, we are giving dignity, respect, rehumanization, and putting the word of God into practice. And that's why people just want to jump on. And if we had that, they'd be all over it in that facility, no doubt.
And that's why the city, I've been a part of the city machine. I was on the council, and I've been a part of it. It is not the answer to most problems in our community. It's just not. The city hall has a knack in a way when they get involved in things of complicating them, of making them cost too much money, and of doing things that really, it's like job creation. It's like the homeless initiative. The city gets involved and makes matters worse. They do not do anything, really. I mean, it's mind-boggling, man. I can say that because I saw it from the inside. there's good intentions from people. That I don't worry about people's intentions. I mean, some you got to be concerned about, though. Not everybody's in it for the right reasons, but for the most part, if the city council and city hall and the city machine recognize that, look, we're not the answer to most of the problems in our city, but arrogance puts them in a position where they think, well, you know what? You're operating out of code, and therefore I'm going to fine you $3,000. Your mission is to help homeless people and feed them, and they're going to take $3,000 away from you because your permit doesn't matter. That is what's backwards and broken. So when you say partnership and working with it, I'm even stunned you still continue to say that, knowing how the city has treated you. But that's a major breakdown. We have to demand that of our elected officials too, which is, hey, look, it's okay to restore faith at City Hall.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, it's okay to say the church has answers to a lot of our problems. And does it begin in faith? It's more about the works. It's more about the action.
Yes.
And I think you've kind of cracked into that. And and the winter shelter, folks, look, real quick, when somebody comes in and a homeless person's picked up and you bring them there, just if you want to volunteer and be a part of one of these winter shelters, if you have a calling in this homeless issue speaking to you and you feel the pull, go to one of these winter shelters. It is a safe and organized location to volunteer in a homeless ministry. But what do you do? So the homeless person, you pick them up, they come to the shelter. Walk us through so everybody has a comfortability level.
Okay, so even before they get on the bus, I'll give this speech 3 times because it's so important. And this is the speech right here. And listen, you got to know the language, right? I was born and raised in that area. I know the people. Some of these guys, I used to go to school with some of these guys. So you got to know the language. And the first thing I say is, listen, guys, thank you for showing up. We want to give you warmth. We want to love on you. This is what we expect from you. This is what you could expect from us. Boom. So everything's clear. What we expect from them is the same respect we're showing you. We expect it back. If you have any drama or any beef with anybody on the street, do not handle it here. I don't condone it, but if you have to, just wait till it's over, because we tolerate zero aggression. That's verbal or especially physical with our staff or anybody else. If somebody's giving you a problem, please remember, PTA, I'm throwing those keywords in every single sentence. Please let myself or one of the staff know. Let us handle it. We don't want to put you out or them out, because that's what will happen. Cool? Okay, cool. They get on the bus. We get there. We start the intake process. Right off the bat, homeless have a lot of luggage. They're carrying their life on their back.
They carry a lot of luggage. Yes, they do.
Yeah, and so they'll come in. So Sam comes in. Boom, you got 3 pieces of luggage. All of this is so easy. We just put tape with the number 3 on all of his luggage. You get a piece of paper. Here's number 3. That's you. We take the luggage. We do a quick inside, outside, your pockets, back pockets, front pockets, any jacket pockets. Boom. He goes in. An usher escorts him to the mat and the sleeping bag he's going to be sleeping on. That luggage is taken and stored in a safe,
no
secure,
drugs or pills.
Yeah, no drugs.
Unless a prescription.
Yes, unless there's subscription, boom, prescription. That's locked away. Once he sits down, somebody will send them the food, and we do that till everybody's in. We show movies, Christmas movies, and all of that. There's a reason, man. One, it gets your mind off of the reality that you're homeless, that you're freezing, that life sucks right now. Man, we're putting in a movie so they're not fixated on anybody else or fixated on anything other than, hey, this is a great time, hot chocolate, hot cocoa. For the most part, they need to use the restroom. Boom, no more than 2 at a time. And a volunteer, male for men, female for female, goes with them to the restroom, kind of waits out there. Boom, let them do their thing. They come out. If they want to take a smoke break, the same thing. Listen, I know, and I worried, like, maybe some of these churches, no, brother, we're not supposed to be smoking. I get it. I understand. But, man, if you're freaking out because you haven't got a hit of heroin and a cigarette is going to stop you from just blowing your top, and that's it, by all means, we go out there with a volunteer. They take the smoke break. They come in the morning. Boom. We give the luggage back. I call number 3. Boom. He gives me his paper. Here's all your luggages. They get tacos. They get loaded on the bus. Boom. And then we bring them back to the Via Metro Center. It's that simple now. It's that simple now.
You got the process going, right?
Yes, sir. That's it in a nutshell.
And people need to when you think about this homeless issue, and it's our time of year. So what have we learned, right, from COVID? We've learned that, and we can be restricted to our home. We cannot get out and move around. We're staying, and the government's telling us how to live. They're telling you, right, all our rights and everything are stripped away. And we really are feeling, people in general are feeling just kind of tired of this vice we're living in of rules and regulations, right? But when you sit there, you think about it, there's a few key points I always try to tell my kids, and I try to remind myself. Number one, I got a roof over my head. Thank God. Yeah. I'm still working. I've got my health. I've got health insurance. There's a lot of positives in life.
Yes.
And from the homeless perspective, what always spoke to me was that all those things we worry about, homelessness can be a prison. You may think, well, outside and the physical limitation is not there. And it is a prison, sometimes a prison of addiction, right? And like you said, someone had lost their faith because they lost their family and they can't get back on it. And a pair of socks is a game changer. A pair of a jacket is a game changer. I would go out we said to ourselves when I was on city council, we went out into District 6 and tried to clean up a lot of the homeless encampments and offer services. And to a T, I think we probably got 15 different encounters with the homeless people over a span of about a year on the program. And all 15 of them took the services. You have to continue. It's a trust thing. You have to continually keep coming back.
Yes, consistency leads to life transformation.
Thank you. Consistency leads to life transformation. So I just saw my tiny little piece of being able to do it for a while. But like I said, the gentleman who froze to death in the parking lot, just think about that, right? That's all I got to say. And we'll wrap up with that thought, right? We can sit and have our thing. We're in the air heated today. We got our sweaters on. You're wearing the thin blue line hat. Everything's going our way. We've got blessings, Align Mortgage, $25,000. Salo has the best equipment. He's always doing great work. And we did Bible study this morning. I'm going to hop in my Toyota Tundra, drive home to my wife and kids, and I'm going to drive over people sleeping under a damn bridge with nothing. It just has always spoke to me. So think about that when you're out there. Just think about it. When you're driving around Loop 410, 1604, and you see that, all I ask, I think all Alex would ask, is that little bit of compassion to say, I don't know why they're there, but they are there, and I can't slipping $1 out a window is not the answer, and giving them $1 in a panhandler, you don't even know who in the world you're helping with that.
Yeah.
But reach out to these organizations. Reach out to Alex at Life Restore Church. Reach out to CBC. Someone put that up there. Reach out to the Restoring Church and Pastor Daryl Crane. Jimmy Robles.
Last Chance
Ministries. On Thursday night, they're doing a winter shelter. Reach out to Pastor Robles and just give it an opportunity. If you can't show up and it worries you and you're concerned, send them $5. Send them $10 and say, I can't be there and I'm stuck and I am worried about COVID. And fine. Send in something and be a part of it, because I cannot stand the thought of when I drive around and I see it. I used to think nuisance, and I used to really believe that. And I used to think panhandles. Let's get rid of these people. We got to clean out the neighborhoods. And until I saw it, and I seen children bathing in the street because their parents are homeless. And it's not just that; it's the near homeless too, right? It's those who are on the brink of losing their home, and there's a lot of that happening in our community. We've got to think about that too. When people are going to be evicted, they've lost their jobs. COVID has destroyed the community. I put a lot of that on our elected officials. I'm sorry, I do. Our elected officials who are shutting down businesses and restaurants and jobs and opportunities, and people can't earn a living. And then they're out of their job because they can't make $1 and earn $1. We got to think about those things. So Alex continues to kill it and get it done. Sit with me for a few more minutes. I don't want you to take off just yet, but thank you for the ministry. And thank you for coming on tonight. This isn't we're not talking about creating 75,000 jobs or San Antonio is the 7th largest city in the nation. All those other, great. We're not solving the massive problems, but if we can be concerned about immigrants coming to our country, if we can be concerned about people living in the shadows, undocumented persons, if City Hall leads with those things, and City Hall, what about these citizens that are American citizens who are homeless, We should care as much about them as we do people striving to get to our city to form some sort of life for themselves. And we should care about all these people then. If we're going to do it, we need to do it for all of them and destigmatize that homelessness issue and get after it. That's my rant to wrap it up. And thank you, brother, for what you do. I tell Alex all the time, man, he's got like a halo around him, man. He's working it, and it's a selfless opportunity. We appreciate you, and we will continue to keep going. Winter Shelter tomorrow night. Where? Last Chance Ministry?
Yeah, Last Chance Ministry.
Look it up. See what you
Volunteer, boom, the link, bam.
Down at the bottom, donate and volunteer link is in the description. Life Restore Church. And this is the kind of stuff that pisses me off. So for instance, this right here. Can you bring it up so where I can do some control mechanisms here? Check this out. This is what I'm talking about with priorities in the city. So Hardburger Park opened up the other day. And by the way, I do want to say this. Former Mayor Phil Hardburger had a heart attack in the last couple of days. So he's 86 years old. He had a heart attack, saw it in the news and the paper, and we do want to wish him the best of luck. So, and we'll wish him a speedy health and recovery, speedy recovery. We wish him health. Mayor Phil Hardburger did a lot of great things, especially during Hurricane Katrina. He did amazing work in welcoming Katrina refugees to San Antonio and building the shelters and this response for Hurricane Katrina. Of course, Phil Hardburger was over 10 years ago. He was mayor and did two-year terms. But look, this land bridge is a $25 million bridge. And we joke about it and call it the Critter Bridge. And it upsets some people, because, critters aren't just using it. People are using it too, and they're crossing over the bridge. Also, that deer and animals don't get hit on Northwest Military. It's $25 million. The city put in like $15 million. Donors put in $10 million. And is it a beautiful bridge? Yes. Did I go see it? And it's 150 foot wide, and it's amazing. It's a work of art. It really is an amazing structure. It's a completely wrong priority for our city.
Yeah.
Like totally wrong. It's not where we should be spending our resources, our cash, our dollars. It's just not. But you see this kind of stuff at City Hall, and it is really heartbreaking. So because people like the missions with the churches and Alex, $1 million. Can you imagine what in the world the homeless community could do with $1 million going to the churches or organizations that we know are employing those dollars where it matters most, or to job creation, or to creating day passes or bus passes, right? Yeah. Purchasing bus passes. That bus pass is huge for a homeless person as well. So just think about that. Patty Gibbons just mentioned Bexar County put in $1 million. The land bridge is a complete misallocation of priorities in a time. And we got to be also kind of rethinking it as well right now with COVID. Like, man, I guess City Hall thought that was fantastic 5 years ago. But right now with COVID-19 and all the drama and trouble of our city we are facing, and we're praising a bridge for critters the other day. Yes, humans are on it too, but it is a critter bridge. Makes no sense to me. And it's a valuable asset, I guess, because there's dollars in investment into it, and it is an icon for the national news. It ain't doing anything for the people who need it most in our city. And just be mindful of what's happening at City Hall, because crap like that makes it through. And then what you end up with is the struggle in people. And now, in the days of COVID-19 and the changes of resources and things that are happening at City Hall, the defunding of police departments across all these things that are happening, $25 million can make an awful world of difference for projects, programs, and churches across our city. So keep an eye on it, and there we'll go from there. One of the things I wanted to hit, and I want to make sure this is something else I'm pushing out here. I'm going to be pushing this one. Children and bedlessness. So be prepared. The broadcast and partners at Align Mortgage, I'm pitching this to Align Mortgage. Sleep in Heavenly Peace is a 501c3 nonprofit. And what they aim to do is put children in beds. And you would think, children in beds? How does that even work? I've delivered mattresses as a city council person in conjunction with the San Antonio Police Officers Association. This is sad. We would take a twin mattress into a home. Kids are sleeping in bathtubs. Yeah. Towels in the tub, sleeping on the towels. Kids are sleeping on wooden pallets, makeshift beds, or they're sleeping on the floor, or they're sleeping on the couch. Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Look them up. Be prepared. We're going to push to try to get as many kids a bed and a bunk bed, a mattress and a bag and a bed, sheet and pillow and stuff like that, There are 1,500 kids on this wait list in San Antonio alone with this organization. 1,500 children that do not have a bed. Now, you may think, well, maybe they're sleeping with their parents or they have a couch. No. Think about this from a child's perspective. They can't have a friend over to the house. They're not well prepared when they go to school in the morning, sleeping in a bathtub and all, contorted in a tub or sleeping on the floor. This organization, in conjunction with donors I'm trying to hopefully piece together here, we're going to try to put 100 of these kids to bed in January. So be prepared. This one's coming. And I think we can do it because once people know that story and they see Sleep in Heavenly Peace builds the bed with wood and purchase money from Lowe's and stuff like that. They have donor money. And then we can bring in other donors and opportunities to pay for the mattress and the sheets and the pillows and stuff. Those kids, when you see, I'm like going crazy trying to find my son a PS5, right? Or whatever. I mean, for Christmas. Whatever the hot gift is of the day. You walk into a home and give a kid a bed and they start looking like they just got a PS5. Like, oh my. Yeah. It is off the charts. So be prepared for this one. Help stop child bedlessness. It affects their school. It affects their mental well-being. Yep. It gives them a sense of home, of pride. Even, I don't care where they're living, if it's an apartment, it's grandma's house, if it's a house in any side of this town, the child should have a bed to sleep in. We're going to go after this one. Be prepared because this to me is absolutely unacceptable. And Sleep in Heavenly Peace, Google them. More information coming on us from the broadcast. We need to make sure we're jumping in and helping those kids. And they smile just like that. That's on that website right there. That is literally what you see when you bring them a mattress, man. A mattress.
Yeah, a bed for every kid.
A bed for every kid. Be prepared. This one's coming. We're pushing, and I think we need to make it a goal. So homelessness, bedlessness in children, let's make some things happen over the next couple months. Yeah, look, am I going to be getting into a political campaign next year? Yeah, I'm running for office. We're going to run on stuff like this. We're going to come back and say, this is the family we need to be taking care of. These are the issues we need to be addressing. Yes, we need jobs. We need to talk about wages, all these things that are going on in our community. But the priorities of City Hall, they're not this. It's not faith either. And we're going to change those things because at the end of the day, at least if we get in the conversation, we say, look, these are the ideas and things we're talking about. A lot of it comes back to faith and belief in the system again. And we got to go there. We got to go there to make these things happen and say City Hall doesn't have all the answers. Organizations like this do. Nonprofits, churches. Trust the experts to do their job. Let the city get the heck out of the way. Don't overregulate. Let people open their jobs, their restaurants. Let them put people back to work. City support, open the gateways, reduce government, bureaucracy, and waste. Let people create jobs. Let people create faith. Let people create mattresses. Let people create a homeless shelter. Let the churches, the faith, the community, the nonprofit, let them do the work. City, get the heck out of the way. Just be there with dollars, permitting, and take care of those who are actually doing the work. So this is what we're going to jump on. Be prepared. It's coming. Okay, well, I'll stop on that one. Bedlessness is
That's beautiful.
It's a personal one. We're going to tell more stories on this. So be prepared. It's coming. Salo, we're near the end here. We always want to wrap up with some memes. So I'm still in control, right? So we're going to do some memes.
Yeah.
We love you. So be prepared. Let me see which ones I got right here. This right here. That's a Christmas tree of 2020. I'm sorry. It's a 2020. Look. That's an expensive tree. If we can't laugh at ourselves, what are we doing? 2020, you're killing me. I don't know if you know who Shooter McGavin is.
Shooter McGavin.
This Shooter McGavin from, from Happy Gilmore. That's the practice swing, looking sharp. That's the shot. Yeah, that's pretty much how all of us play. I, of course, am a Mandalorian fan. When the edible hits a little too hard and you got to concentrate on not dying. The edible. Look, it's talking about CBD. We'll just say CBD.
That's true. CBD and melatonin.
CBD and melatonin. Those are edibles. Calm down, people. Here's families at Thanksgiving that were pissing Nelson Wolff and Ron Nuremberg off. I like this one. I don't know why. My friend told me to take these now. I'm on a whole new level.
That's a good one. I like that.
I'm sorry.
Some don't get anything.
Some don't get that.
So, yeah.
So, Heal Thy Burgers. That's a grill. And then down at the bottom, of course, the infamous cat and Real Housewives down there. Healthy Burgers. Heal Thy Burgers. Okay, I like that one. I don't know. That one didn't get any laughs, but this one would. Nick Jagger.
Wow.
That's Nicolas Cage.
Wow.
Nick Jagger.
Merged as Nick Jagger. Here's the weather forecast. Snowflakes predicted in these 10 states. That's a bit of a knock on. Yeah, it's a little blue humor right there. I got to do some blue humor. I got to do some blue humor. How mothers wake up their children in commercials. This is definitely Luke. How my mom wakes me up. Yep, that's pretty much exactly how it works. Take it down, Karen. It's illegal. Karen, gather. Take it down. You're not allowed to do that. This is actually scary right here. Elf on the Shelf was delicious.
Wow.
This is a true story. Some mom did this to their kid.
Oh, shoot.
And the kid was mortified, like on social media, mortified.
This is morbidly funny.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely terrible. Morbidly is right. I love this one right here. There's my phone. Hundreds of screenshots I don't use. Today someone decided to make an illegal U-turn at the worst possible time. Absolutely love that one. And if you don't get this one, Salo, not everyone will get this. It's a pie. It's a pie. Now, and I'll leave with this right here. So check this one out. Of course, that's how you know your fake Christmas tree is super old. That's totally legit. That's every grandpa, dad, and great grandpa does this right here. They wrap that box and save it to the end of time. But I'll leave you with this one, folks. To ponder this. Which fry are you? Are you a curly fry, crinkle fry, sweet potato, waffle fry, McDonald's, or steak? I'll tell you who has great fries.
McDonald's.
Bro, Raising Cane's.
Oh yeah, their chicken is good.
Their chicken is good. Alex is definitely a steak fry guy. Always has crumpled cash in their wallet. Cannot keep a plant alive. Relies on being a feminist. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe.
I do love sweet potatoes, though.
You like sweet potatoes, so you drink too much coffee. You lie about being hungover and you collect weird things. McDonald's, loves small objects, doesn't wear colors, puts too much effort into relationships. Absolutely awesome. Fry Guys, there it is. All right. I'll stop.
What about this? Look at this. Media's lying to you.
Salo has one. Santa could potentially infect every household on Earth this Christmas, but no one wants to talk about it. If Santa were a super spreader.
Super spreader. Look at this.
Take me to your leaders. I was wrong. Take me back to my ship. I'm trying to be kind in mine. Salo goes straight.
He's going for the...
Heartwarming. Antifa member suddenly realizes the true fascist was inside him all along.
Oh, remember talking about vaccines?
Yeah. If you don't wear a mask, they won't let you in the building to get the vaccine. Let's end on that one.
Yes.
You want to rebel, San Antonio. You want to be anti-vaccine. Don't wear the mask. They won't let you in the building.
Hey, dude, this guy figured it out. There he goes, man.
That's amazing. All right. Hey, we appreciate you. Look, it's towards the end of the year. It's December. We're getting ready to wrap up the broadcast for the year. We'll probably come back next week, do talking one more Tuesday night, and then we'll end it. And then when we come back in 2021, I can't even believe we're saying that.
Crazy, right?
2021. It's a leap year?
Yeah, if you hadn't had enough.
2020, get an extra day. So we're coming back in 2021, and we'll be different. It's coming back different, and you'll see it soon enough as we begin this world of trying to change our city, not just in podcasts, but in action, right? Yeah. In a campaign. We're going to fight for the things soon to be announced. We're going to fight for the things of our city and say, these are the things we believe and stand on. Win, lose, or draw, we're going to take the fight to City Hall. It's coming soon enough. We're going to do these things with a free heart, built on faith with our friends and family, and we're going to take it forward in 2021. The broadcast will change, still be the broadcast, but the focus is going to be different. And we've had fun for a year, but I get it. But now we have to talk about these elections. We have to talk about running for office. We have to talk about recruiting people to run for office and changing things at City Hall. if we can change that mentality, if we can change it to think about San Antonio first, about trusting its citizens, about hope, about vision and the things we need to do to build our city, if we can go down there and do that, we can fix this community on May 3rd, get different faces down there and support these things that frankly are kind of no-brainers to most of us outside of City Hall. Now down there, they've lost their mind half the time. So we need to make sure that we take back that power we have, get out there, run for office, vote, push to say these are things that matter most. Faith, our families, jobs, opening back up, our children in schools, our personal liberties and rights. And then let's get back to building the city that we've lost track of over the last few years. It's coming. Be prepared for it. Got one more show this year, and then we're going to come back completely redefined in 2021, focusing on changing City Hall and going for it. So we love you. Appreciate you. Alex, we thank you for all you're doing for the homeless community, period. Just showing up, talking. Thank you for that. Salo, we love you as well. Salo is the man. He makes all this happen. For you, like it, share it, tag it. It's a tough time of the year for podcasting and all those other things, but that's okay. You remember who you are. Take care of your family. We appreciate you. Like it, share it, push it out. We will be back next week, and then we'll close out the year. But as always, the broadcast appreciates you. We love you. We want to be here with information and ideas. Thank you for being you. The broadcast is officially out.